So, starting from this moment on, we are going to analyze a little text in order to look at the imperialism. You can see the title, The White Man's Burden. This is a poem written in 1899 by Rudyard Kipling. I've printed just an extract, so this is not the entire poem. This is part of the poem. The entire title of this poem was The White Man's Burden, the United States and the Philippine Islands. So, as you can see, this text speaks about the questions we have just explained. This poem is about the Philippine-American War that, as you can see, starts from 1899 and goes until 1902. And in this text, the author exhorts the United States to assume colonial control of the Filipino people and their country. In other words, Kipling says to Americans, it is your duty to colonize the Philippine Islands. It is white man's burden, white man's duty to colonize the inferior peoples. Do you need a translation, or do you understand everything I say?
A little bit racist.
Yes. You are right, Tito. This is a ethnocentric point of view. I think you studied that definition in human sciences. Ethnocentrism is a way of considering the world starting from your culture and not considering other cultures, but thinking that your culture is the best and other cultures are not good enough to be considered good cultures. Okay? So let's start to read the text. Take up the white man's burden. Send forth the best you breed. Go bind your sons to exile, to serve your captives' need, to wait in heavy harness, on fattered fold and wild. Your new coat, sullen peoples, half devil and half child. So you can see half devil and half child. This is a very bad definition of Filipino people. Half devil, half child. You have the duty to colonize, you have the duty to bring culture, bring science, bring morality, bring ethics to them. They are half child, half devil. Not just animals, devil. The savage wars of peace fill full the mouth of famine and bid the sickness cease. Bid the sickness cease. White man's arrogance thinks that just going in there, the white man can bid the sickness. So just going there, white man brings culture, brings progress, brings science, brings a new life, not considering at all the previous culture. And when your goal is nearest, the end for others so, watch loaf and even folly. Watch loaf and even folly. In Italian this sounds, osserva gli ignavi e la follia pagana. These are very difficult words in order to say that the culture that was in the Philippine Islands was so bad that was lazy, pigra, ignavia, pigrizia. Bring all your hopes to north. So let's have a bit of comment and then a discussion. Kipling is a British author. He's very famous I think you will study that in English literature, in particular for the Jungle Book. Have you ever heard about it?
Yes.
Jungle Book. In this text, and in other texts, Kipling brings a justification for Europe binge of late 19th century imperial expansion. So, he tries to justify the colonization, the colonialism, and the imperialism. He tries to say that imperialism is right, and not just right, but is a duty for white people. Because white people can bring civilization to other cultures, to other inferior cultures. In reality, we just said, thinking about the Hobson's view of imperialism, that there was an economic reason for imperialism. And so in the text, we can see that speaks about economic opportunities, national pride, military necessity, and social obligation for imperialism. So there are many reasons. Nowadays, we can say that imperialism was an effort in order to gain new ways of shopping, new markets, okay? But at that time, the common opinion was that imperialism was right and was a duty. So Kipling is a fantastic historical source in order to understand what was the mentality, what was the common idea of imperialism for white people, for Western people in that period. So this is the reason why I have thought of reading this text with you, because we can use this literal text in order to understand the ideas of the people of that time. In the poem we read, Kipling exhorts the white man to accomplish his duty to bring civilization to inferior peoples. This burden was also justified, we said that last lesson, last week, by Spencer's social Darwinism theory. Do you remember that? Social Darwinism. Only the best survive. Thanks to the white man's burden, historians or students can find precious evidence of Western civilization haughtiness. Haughtiness is pride, orgoglio, superbia, arrogance.